Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been a while since my last video. As you know, sometimes life gets in the way, but I'm here now, and as it is the 1st of August today, I will show you everything that I've picked up for the month of July 2022. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So first up, I have The Seventh Curse. This is the beautiful 88 Films limited edition box set. I did already do a separate video on this release, so if you want to check that out, I will leave a link in the description below and you can hear my more sort of in-depth thoughts on this release. But yeah, that's The Seventh Curse. So the first few titles were all pickups in CEX, so I got most of these fairly cheap. And the first one I have here is Brawl in Cell Block 99. So yeah, this is a movie that's directed by, is it S. Craig Zahler? And I remember he made a movie called Bone Tomahawk, and I remember seeing that around the time it came out, and that was a movie that really blew me away. Very slow-paced Western. I think it was over 2 hours long, but very compelling movie nonetheless, and really shocking in places. And yeah, I found this movie was very, very similar. It's a prison movie. It's over 2 hours long. It probably doesn't need to be that long considering the story, but nonetheless, I still found this movie very, very compelling, even though it is kind of slow paced. And I just wanted to know what was going to happen next, like after every scene. Vince Vaughn is great in it. I'm not really the biggest Vince Vaughn fan, but this is probably the best movie I've seen him in. Really, really great performance. He's a real badass in it. And yeah, it's a really, really enjoyable movie. So yeah, that is Brawl in Cell Block 99. So next up, I have a series of free movies here, and I got these all for 50p, 50p each, I should say. The first one is Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy, and The Bourne Ultimatum. So yeah, I have seen these movies before, but I have to admit, I've never really been the biggest fan of them. I remember seeing The Identity when it first came out. I remember I had a pirate copy of it, pirate copy DVD, and the quality was really good, but I remember about 3/4 of the way through the movie, it just crashed, and I never saw the end of the movie. Supremacy, the first time I remember seeing this was on a school trip, believe it or not, but my memories of this one are a little bit hazy. But The Ultimatum, I can definitely say for sure that I have seen this one all the way through because I did have it on DVD. And it was probably the one I remember enjoying the most. But yeah, like I said, it's never really been a series of films that I've really been that into. But for 50p each, so I paid like £1.50 for the three of them. Can't really argue with that. But I'm looking forward to revisiting them and hopefully I'll enjoy them a bit more. Next up, we have Coco. Yeah, another CEX pickup. I think I paid about £2 for this. And yeah, I've got to admit, I'm not really the biggest fan of like Disney, Pixar, animated movies. They're just not really my go-to movies, to be honest. But I have seen this one and I really, really did like this one. And I can see myself watching this one again and again. Yeah, just a really great story, great sort of heartfelt message, great animation, great voice acting. There's sort of a musical theme in there. You got the Day of the Dead theme. It just ticks a lot of boxes for me, and I really enjoyed it when I watched it. So yeah, looking forward to revisiting it. Next up, I got another Blu-ray that I paid 50p for, and it is Horrible Bosses. So yeah, I have seen this movie. I feel like I might have seen this movie with Andy from Forgotten World of Movies. Yeah, we used to get together a lot and with our other friend, and we'd just put movies on like this, just, you know, sort of comedy movies that are easy to watch. And the type of movie you'd watch with your friends. But I remember enjoying this one. I remember, you know, finding it funny in places. I remember Jennifer Aniston in particular is very funny in it. But yeah, it's probably been about 10 years since I've seen it, so I don't really remember that much about it, but I'm hoping it still holds up. If not, it was only 50p, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's Horrible Bosses. Next up, we have It. So yeah, this is the 2017 movie. I have seen this movie. I remember seeing it in the cinema. I'm a big Stephen King fan. I love the novel as well. And I remember being quite excited for this movie. I was kind of hoping it was going to do a lot from the novel that the original miniseries couldn't do. I still have a great nostalgic soft spot for the miniseries, but I was hoping this movie was going to do a bit more. And I've got to admit, at the time, I didn't really like this movie. I was a bit disappointed with it. So much so that I haven't even seen Chapter 2. I mean, obviously I know how the story ends because I've read the novel and I've seen the original miniseries. But yeah, I thought I would pick this up. I found it for £2. I thought I'd give it another go, and then maybe give chapter 2 a watch as well, because I'm hoping on a rewatch I might get a bit more out of it. But yeah, that is it. So I picked this next one up in a sale in HMV. I think I paid £4.49 for it, and it's Malcolm X. So yeah, this is a movie starring Denzel Washington, directed by Spike Lee, obviously about Malcolm X. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Very long film. It's about 3.5 hours long. So if you're going to watch it, make sure you allocate a lot of time for it. But it's got a great performance by Denzel Washington. Really, really great story. The ending. I mean, if you know about Malcolm X, you'll know how this movie ends. Very tragic. Very, very dark. Quite brutal in places. But yeah, I really did enjoy this movie. Yeah. Great performance by Denzel Washington, and yeah, just a great movie overall. Malcolm X. Another CEX pickup here, and we have Nomadland. So yeah, I've seen this movie. I really liked it. Frances McDormand is great in it. I feel like she might have won Best Actress for it. I can't quite remember. I think she did. If she didn't, she still puts in a really great performance, and I found it to be a really interesting movie and really interesting story. But yeah, I was just kind of waiting for it to go cheap, because I have seen the movie before. I'm not really in a rush to rewatch it, but yeah, I was happy to pick it up for, I think it was £4 I paid for it. But yeah, that's Nomadland. So next up, I've got another CEX pickup, and this is an Arrow title, and it's possibly the cheapest I've ever paid for an Arrow title with the booklet. But it's a movie called Animal Factory. So yeah, I'd never really heard of this movie before. I always remember seeing the cover in like HMV and on the Arrow website, places like that, but it never really jumped out at me. But when I saw it on the shelf in CEX, I picked it up and I read the back, and yeah, suddenly it really appealed to me. It's a prison movie, and it's about a guy called Edward Bunker. For movie fans, they will know him best for playing Mr. Blue in Reservoir Dogs. But before he had this career in films, when he was younger, he was a criminal, and he found himself in prison a couple of times during his life. And yeah, this is just a movie about his life in prison. It's got a fantastic cast. You've got Edward Furlong, Willem Dafoe, Danny Trejo. Then you've got people like Tom Arnold in there. You've got Steve Buscemi, who also directed the movie. You've got Mickey Rourke. Just a fantastic cast. And yeah, overall, I really liked the movie. Yeah, good, solid prison drama. Can't really say much more than that, but yeah, that is Animal Factory. Another CEX pickup here, and another Arrow title, and it's a movie called Coffee, starring Pam Grier. So yeah, this is a blaxploitation movie from the 70s. I really do enjoy these movies. I've seen Foxy Brown, which also stars Pam Grier. Really enjoyed that one, so that was kind of the reason why I decided to pick this up. I didn't enjoy this one as much as Foxy Brown, but I know a lot of people seem to prefer Coffee. I still really enjoyed it. But for me, Foxy Brown was probably the best that I've seen Pam Grier in. But Coffee is still a really enjoyable blaxploitation movie. Okay, next up, I've got a Criterion release, and it's a movie by Akira Kurosawa, and it's a movie called Kagemusha. So yeah, I've got to admit, Kurosawa is a director that I'm still kind of discovering. I've not really seen that many of his movies. I've seen Seven Samurai. Controversially, I wasn't that keen on it. Maybe I just need to give it another go. I've also seen High and Low, I think it is. Again, I wasn't massively into that movie, but they're two of his earlier movies. But I have heard from a lot of people that a lot of people consider his later movies to be quite underrated and possibly his best period for movies. And I would probably agree with that, because I know he made this movie and he did Run and he did Dreams, which is probably my personal favourite Kurosawa movie. But yeah, I saw this in HMV and it was $13.99, so it was reduced. And yeah, I really, really liked this movie. It's a very sort of like long, 3-hour samurai epic. Not very heavy on action, but really compelling story, great characters, visually very, very stunning. And yeah, I really did enjoy it, and it's given me sort of that enthusiasm to go out and seek out more of Kurosawa's work. because as I said, I'm still quite new to his filmography. But yeah, that is Kagemusha. Next up, we have a 4K. This again was on sale in HMV. I think I paid $10.99 for this, and it is National Lampoon's Animal House, directed by John Landis and starring John Belushi. Yeah, I've seen this movie before. I really enjoy it. It's not my favourite John Landis movie, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. It's very funny in places. But I've heard the 4K transfer looks really, really nice. Very natural looking, so yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a rewatch on 4K. Another 4K release here, and one that I picked up in CEX, and it is Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, I don't need to say too much about this movie. It's a great movie, great war movie. The beginning of it is fantastic, one of the best opening scenes to a movie of all time. And there's a lot of great action scenes, especially at the end of the movie. And yeah, I've never owned this movie on Blu-ray. My previous version that I own is a DVD, so I've never seen this in HD, let alone 4K. And I just thought I'd go straight to the 4K because I imagine this is going to look very, very nice. Not sort of the best movie in terms of color. It's quite muted in terms of how it looks, but I imagine the detail and the gritty sort of realism of the movie is really going to shine on 4K. Well, here's hoping it does anyway. Next up, I've got a couple of movies from the premium collection. So I was actually out on a Blu-ray hunt with my good friend Andy from Forgotten World of Movies, and yeah, we found ourselves in HMV, and I was looking at the premium collection, and I wanted to pick a couple of titles up, but I wasn't really too sure what. I think I had a choice of about 4 or 5, and it was kind of Andy's enthusiasm for these movies that won me over in the end. So the first one I have here is Innocent Blood, directed by John Landis again. Yeah, I really liked this movie. One of the lesser known John Landis films, but a lot of fun. It's a vampire movie, so it's like a horror mixed with comedy, but it's also got like a gangster sort of element to it as well. And it's got some great special effects, great practical effects in there. Very similar to his other movie, American Werewolf in London. So if you like that movie, I think you might enjoy this one as well. And the other premium title that I picked up was Death Trap. So yeah, this is a really fun movie. It's a kind of like a black comedy / thriller. It stars Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve. Michael Caine plays a playwright, and his last few plays have kind of all critically failed, and he finds himself in a bit of a depression. But he ends up coming across this play written by Christopher Reeve's character, and he deems it to be one of the best plays he's ever read, and he schemes to basically steal this play from him and also murder him. But as the movie goes on, it's not quite as it seems, let's say. There's a lot of twists in this movie, a lot of fun twists and turns, and yeah, you just don't know which way it's going to go. But I really enjoyed it. That is Death Trap. Next up, we have a title from the 88 Films collection, and it's a movie called Hero. So this is not to be confused with the 2002 film starring Jet Li that's also called Hero. This one came out in 1997, and it's a movie that's set during the Qing Dynasty era, and it's about this character who flees his home country, and he ends up in Shanghai, but he finds himself crossing paths with these two rival gangs who are at war with each other. And yeah, this is a really, really fun movie. It's only 90 minutes long, but it feels like they tried to cram 3 hours worth of story into a 90-minute movie. So it's got a really fast pace, really high energy, lots of action, yeah, fast-moving story. Some people might like that, some people might not like that. But I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. And it also stars Yuan Biao, who is probably best known for working with Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, and they were considered, what were they called? They were called like the Three Brothers, and they made quite a few movies together, like Wheels on Meals and Dragons Forever. He was probably the sort of lesser known of the three, but I still think he's a very charismatic actor, great martial artist, great stunt performer. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. Next up, I have a movie on the 101 Films Black Label collection. I think this is the latest release from them, and it's spine number 26, and it's a movie called Rock and Roll High School. So yeah, this is a late 70s high school comedy. It stars PJ Souls, who is probably best known for being in movies like Halloween and Carrie. And she plays a high school student who is quite rebellious, loves rock music, and has a very unhealthy obsession with the band The Ramones. And she kind of clashes with the principal of the high school, who is a very strict, authoritarian type principal who wants to make the school as strict as possible. And you have PJ Souls' character who just wants to corrupt all the students with her rebellious nature. The band, the Ramones, even feature in the movie, and there's quite a lengthy sequence where they play a number of their songs. So if you're a fan of the band and you haven't seen this movie, I'd be very surprised at that. But yeah, overall, it's a fun little movie. High school comedy, good soundtrack. Can't really say much more than that. That is Rock and Roll High School. Next up, we have the Arrow limited edition 4K box set of Tenebrae. This is the one with the original artwork. So if anyone knows my previous videos, you'll probably know that I've been collecting the Dario Argento movies in these really nice box sets. And yeah, this is another great release from Arrow. John over at Mondo Celovec Movies did a great unboxing of this particular release, so I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check that video out. But yeah, I can't really say much more than that. I've been a fan of the film for a while, really like it. Great 4K transfer, and overall a really nice release. Next up, we have a box set that I picked up from HMV for $11.99, and it is Police Academy, the complete collection. So yeah, this is all 7 movies in one box set. Now I've got to admit, I have never seen a single Police Academy movie. I feel like I might have seen bits of them, because I seem to remember they were kind of like Sunday afternoon movies here in the UK. So I feel like I might have seen bits of some of them, but overall, I don't think I've seen a single movie in full from the collection. So yeah, it'll be interesting to check them out. I could love them, I could hate them, who knows. But yeah, $11.99 for 7 movies. Can't really argue with that. But yeah, Police Academy. Next up, we have a 4K box set that I have been after for a while, but I've kind of been waiting for it to go down in price. And it is Back to the Future, the original trilogy on 4K. I don't really need to say too much about these movies. Classic trilogy, a lot of fun. All 3 movies are great. The box set itself is not the best. It's kind of a flimsy box. You get 2 Amaray cases in here, one which has the 4K discs and the other that has the Blu-ray discs, and you know, it's the same artwork on both. A little bit lazy in my opinion, but at the end of the day, it's about the movies and they look great in 4K, and yeah, it's one of my favorite trilogies. So yeah, that's Back to the Future. And lastly, we have another box set, one that I've been waiting again for it to go down in price, a 4K box set, and it is the Mad Max Anthology Collection. Unlike the Back to the Future box set, this one is a really nice box set, and I was really surprised at the quality of it. You get this nice slip cover on it. You get a really sort of hard box, that kind of feels very boutique. And all 4 movies all come in their own individual case, which I feel like is something you don't really see very much these days. So I was really quite surprised at the quality of the actual box set. And the movies look great in 4K. And yeah, they've been some of my favourites for a long time. I kind of grew up on the original trilogy. I probably saw them when I was way too young, but you know, whatever. But yeah, it's a really, really nice box set, and very glad to own them on 4K. So there you go, guys. Those are my pickups for July 2022. Really hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen any of these movies or if you've picked up any of these particular releases, because I would love to hear your thoughts. But until then, I will hopefully see you all again on the next one. So yeah, take care, guys.